Yes. So, when do you go to detention? Is it when you're innocent? Is that usually when detention happens? Sometimes in the material world, detention is innocent and you have like a rough teacher. I've been there and done that a few times. But usually it's coming from something else I did previously, and then the innocent thing was the last straw. They just perceived that was the last straw. But they were ready to give me detention a long time before that. So anyhow, we were talking about the inferior and the superior energies of the Lord. And this inferior energy of the Lord is where we're all currently at. And that's the world of the 5 material elements. What are the 5 material elements?
Earth, water, fire, air, ether.
Yes, what is ether? Space, yes. Now, there are certain senses that go along with each element. Do you know what that is? That's a little trickier. What travels through ether? Do you know the only thing that can travel through ether? It's sound, actually. Sound. That's why this is the most. That's why the most potent in the ether is the finest material element, and that's why we use technology mantra, because mantra is the finest technology that we have to actually penetrate through the ether. Okay, that's very good. What comes after ether? Does anyone know? The next finest. Air. It is air. Do you know what can travel through air? 2 things. The one before it and then a new thing.
Light.
Not light.
Smell.
Nope.
I got 2 left.
You only got 2 left. What other sense can?
Taste.
Not taste, it's touch. It's touch. You imagine you feel. Actually, the sense of touch that you feel is the reaction of airs within the body and then the airs in the skin. That's why when you feel the wind, you can feel like very viscerally the wind. You can't see the wind, you can't taste the wind, nor can you smell the wind, but you can feel the wind, right? Yes. So this is touch. Okay, now what's the next finer one? You only have 3 senses left. Well, what's the next element? Fire. It is fire. Next finest element, it's fire. Right? Fire is less dense than water and earth. Correct? Okay, now what sense is, this is Sankhya Yoga, by the way. What sense is cooperating with fire?
Taste and sight, right?
Not taste.
No.
Sight, yes. Sight is your body's ability to pick up the light emanated from the fire. In order to see anything, you need the ultimate source of fire, the sun, to illuminate that thing. And your eyes are little receptacles, sense organs, to pick up light. So that's it. So now it leaves only 2. What's the next finest element? Water. So, and also, remember, each preceding element, you can also get all of the things. Through fire, sound can also travel. It even oftentimes makes crackling and burning sounds like that. And then also through fire, it can be felt, right? Most people feel fire very viscerally if it burns you. And so on. And you can see fire, whereas ether and air you cannot see. Now water, what's the difference between water? What can you do with water that you can't do with fire? Well, you can touch fire. You shouldn't, but you can taste. It's taste. Taste is the next one. Water and taste, those line up right there. And then as well, you can also feel water. You can also, so touching water, you can not smell water. If you do smell water, you smell the earth in the water, actually. So your water shouldn't have much of a smell. But the water, and you can see water, you can feel water, and sound travels through water. Did you ever play that game where you go underneath and you make sound and see if they can hear it like that? So sound also travels through water. And then last is earth. And the earth is the most dense. And earth, its defining unique sense is what? Smell, aroma. It has an actual aroma you can smell. So these are, now anything related to those elements and the application of the senses of the body to pick up those elements is actually the realm of Maya. This is the inferior energy of the Lord. Now, who is actually experiencing those lower elements? Yes, but who's in between Krishna and those elements? The jiva, us. We're experiencing that. It actually has nothing to do with us as a living entity, but we're experiencing those elements. So most of us in this world get very attracted to this lower, this inferior energy, and we spend most or much of our life, or even all of our life, chasing after this lower energy, right? Now, today's verse is going to talk about how to overcome the chase for the lower energy, because this is almost everything that we know as pleasure. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending are pretty much how all the living entities in this world try and get pleasure. They try and eat for pleasure. They try and have sex life for pleasure. They have eating, sleeping, mating, sex life, sleeping, taking good rest and comfortable rest and a nice bed, a nice this like that. I want to sleep just like this. And then what's the last? Defending. So acquiring this wealth, acquiring this, and acquiring this relationship, or, oh, this is mine, that is mine, this is mine, everything is mine, and I have to protect it at all costs. And I'm always fearing someone's trying to take away my wealth, someone's trying to take away my wife, someone's trying to take away my thing that I stole, this, that, and the other thing. And so we're always fearing. So this is how living entities in the illusory energy try and get pleasure. But there is a higher sense of pleasure, and we're going to talk about that today. So, without further ado, we kind of recapped to where we are. Look, this is kind of what we did last week. Remember? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So this is the subtle. We should talk about this. The mind. The mind also, what it does is, it's not you, but it gives you kind of a desiring faculty. Rishabh, come on in. Hare Krishna. It gives you a desiring faculty. So whatever your mind ultimately wants. Now there is a spiritualized mind as well. And there's a spiritualized intelligence and a spiritualized false ego. And there's also spiritualized elements as well. But of the lower elements of this world, Paloma, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you didn't know, we had a baby on Friday. So he's very good, but we're asking for prayers so he can properly get his nourishment. He's struggling and taking in food right now. So we're really hoping that he just has to make a few adjustments in how he does this thing. Who knows, maybe he's doing something we can't recognize, like he's trying to purposely fast or do some tapasya or something. Apparently that's in his astrological chart. But I would really personally, as his father, like him to eat. And so would his mother and all of the doctors looking over him and things like that. So everyone is really hoping he just takes to eating. But anyhow, so the mind gives you the desiring faculty. It collects experiences that you've associated with the senses before. Oh, I've tasted sweet rice before. That was really good. Put it in the memory bank. And if you give an opportunity for sweet rice, it's like, ooh, I want that. And you go chase it, right? This is how your mind works a little bit. I desire this, I desire that. And you go and chase these things. So that's, and the intelligence, it accepts or rejects. That's the intelligence's function. Meaning your mind sees, okay, that's good. Like, for instance, something that's not good. Let's say I'm a man, and if I see a pretty lady, I said, oh, I have a nice experience with pretty lady before. Let me go get another pretty lady, I'm sure. But then the intelligence will be like, no, the wife will not like that. This will go wrong, all these things. It might say either yes or no, accept or reject. This is the problem. Not problem, but this is how the intelligence works. So you get urges, or oh, I've had good experience with sweet rice before. But then the intelligence said, this is your fifth bowl. I don't think that if you'll keep having good experience with this, you'll get sick, right? This is how the intelligence works. The mind might have a desire, but the intelligence will tell you whether that's a good idea or not. And then last, the false ego is one's actual understanding of who you are. Now, if you actually understand the real ego There's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which tells us the real ego. It's Jivara Swarupa Hoy Krishnara Nityadasa Krishnara Tatastha Shakti Beta Beta Prakasha. So Jivara is you, the Jiva. Swarupa Hoy, your Swarup, your real form is Krishnara Nityadasa. You are an eternal servant of Krishna. You're an eternal servant of the Lord. Krishnara Tatastha Shakti. Krishna's Tatastha Shakti, or marginal energy. Beta, you are one with, yet also different. Beta Prakash, a manifestation of Krishna. So Peter was kind of talking about, Krishna is experiencing that? Yes, in some sense. Through us, we are little expansions of Krishna. We are not the total Krishna. Just like a little grain of sand is not the total beach, or a little crumb of bread is not the whole pizza. The whole total complete pizza. But we are also complete. That's like a crumb of pizza is not complete. But we are also little complete parts of Krishna. But we are not anywhere. Our one qualification is that what kind of energy? What's the one that we're having trouble with?
Superior.
No, the superior is we're not having trouble. We want to get to this one. The inferior, which is called Maya Shakti, the illusory energy. And it starts with this last one, false ego. We're identifying with things that have nothing to do with us. We identify with this body. We identify with this caste. We identify with this family, this land of birth, this, that, and the other thing. This is not who we are. This is a temporary arrangement. I just have a son. Now I can identify. I'm a father now. I'm, like this. All these things, these are temporary arrangements. Maya is that which is not. And you can test Maya by just saying, okay, is this eternally like this? So, is my name eternally Paloma? What do you think? No. Do you remember what your name was in the last life? No, but when someone asks you, what's your name? Oh, I'm, right? We identify. This is actually a symptom of the false ego. We're identifying with things that are not eternal. So this is our issue. So we have to figure out how to get on the eternal platform. Krishnara Nitya Das. This is the eternal platform. What's that mean, Meghna? It's Bengali, Krishnara Nitya Das. Krishnara Nitya Das.
Krishna Nitya Das. The eternal servant of Krishna.
Yes, this is the only thing that is eternal about us. This is our eternal position. Krishnara, the supreme being, the supreme personality of Godhead, Nitya, we are eternally, Das, his servant. That will always remain true in every single lifetime. Every single lifetime, that will never change. You're always a part and parcel of the Lord. Beta Prakash. A one with and also different expansion of him. That will never change. All of the things of matter, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego will always change. Meaning it's that which is not, Maya. So, what we need is somebody to eradicate our ignorance. And actually, do you know there's a word that means eradicate our ignorance? It's a very popular word. You probably know it. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Gu means ignorance. Guru, yes. Guru is the one who eradicates ignorance. So this is what actually we need. We need somebody who can enlighten us. That's what the song, Here Comes the Sun. You heard this song? I know some of you are Indian in the room, so maybe that's not your pop culture. But Natalie, you've heard this song? Mm-hmm. Yes. That's sung by George Harrison, and he was singing that because in his life, even though he had all the wealth you could imagine, he had all of the sensory pleasures you can imagine, he was part of the #1 most popular band in the world, all the sex, drugs, and rock and roll you could ever imagine, he had at his disposal. Everything, that anyone would chase in the material world, he had, but he realized it wasn't enough. You can't get, there's another famous song, I can't get no satisfaction. I don't know if that's how you sing it, but someone else, right? Makunda. Do you know?
Those are the words.
Those are the words. I haven't listened to that music in a while. I used to know it, but not anymore. But anyway, Here Comes the Sun I can sing because I can use it spiritually. But this one maybe I could too. But we just can't get no satisfaction. Because these are things that are temporary. They change. So this is the inferior energy. Altogether, these 8 comprise my separated material energies. And besides this inferior nature, this is one we did last week, Almighty Armed Arjuna, there's a superior energy in mind, which are all living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe. So this is our position. We are the part of the Krishna's other energy, the living entities, who, what are we doing? We're struggling with this inferior energy. We're trying to balance out all these things. But guess what? You can't. It's always going to change. That's the nature of Maya. It's eternally changing. It's eternally changing. It seems like a paradox. But that's Maya. It will always eternally change. Meaning you can't hold on to it. You can't get comfortable. It'll always fluctuate. So this is our problem. And then what? We are actually sustaining the universe. That is what the living entities do. By all of us trying to balance out the material energy together, we all work in this perfect ecosystem of jivas to make the universe go on and on and on and give it its infinite variety and infinite misery and infinite type of situations of fluctuation. Now this party's in charge, and now that party's in charge, and now this war is happening, and now this thing is happening. Why can't we just get comfortable? That's not how it works. It's eternally meant to do that. Why? To give you the push towards something eternal, something stable, something happy. So that is ultimately what Krishna is going to... this is a nice verse. Very popular. We can maybe make this our verse today. Let's make this our verse today, but then we'll continue on with this teaching. This is so important. But before we begin, I would like if... Meghna, can you do your great scrolling service? There. Well, let's... Together we'll chant these prayers and try and invoke the mercy of the spiritual teachers to eradicate our ignorance, which is what's holding us back, so we can understand something better. All together. Om Jnanasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha exceedingly happy to see you. Is that Roshan back there? Yeah, you guys come up. You come. Everyone come. Oh, it's very good. I'm very happy to see Brajesh and Roshan. Especially, Brajesh, you'll have some musty with Piyush because Piyush missed today and you made it. So this is good. You have some fuel. So, yes. You've made some good priority decisions today. We were just talking about that exactly in our class today. We are talking about the Bhagavad Gita and what priorities we're focusing on, and ultimately what's happening to us. We have to keep going to detention. You ever go to detention before? Yes. Maybe in India, do they have detention? Is that a thing? Yes? Okay. Tanmai's been to detention. So he'll tell you it's absolutely a place. So we're all everyone there, they have prisons and jails everywhere though. I'm being lighthearted by saying detention, but actually a more accurate analogy would be like a prison. We're imprisoned by what we just mentioned, the desire for these things: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, and all of the senses that cooperate. We just talked about, we went through all of that, what senses line up with earth, water, fire, air, ether, and mind. Ether, and if you weren't here for that, maybe you can listen on YouTube or something, but we just went through that. And then at the same time, what's the nature of these things? They're always changing, meaning we cannot have a lasting happiness in chasing these things. The ice cream will go away. The beautiful flower will eventually decompose. The smell of the beautiful aroma will also go away. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Come on in. Very happy to have you. Margi.
Hare Krishna.
And one more time. It starts with a T, your name, right?
Dhara.
Dada?
Yeah.
Dada. Actually, you have a very nice name because we just had a son on Friday. And
nice.
yes, in his name, the sound D-H-A, da, should be there. Da.
Oh.
Yes, so maybe you're inspiring me in certain ways. I have an idea of which way I want to go with this, but which way we want to go with this, it's a team effort. I'm not making all the shots. Actually, my wife calls most of the shots. I'm just the puppet who dances. She's pulling the strings. So, yes.
DHA is called as the Dhan Rashi. So back then in India, so the Rashi is called as it's like money, like DHA Dhan, which is called money.
Sagittarius.
Yes, I don't know. I know what my astrologer told me, that in the fourth pada of this month, at this sound is what I should incorporate in the name, but I don't know all of the little technicalities and semantics behind it. But that DHA will be in my son's name. So you all have we're gonna have a name giving ceremony probably. Another 3 weeks from now. It'll be the Saturday, like a little less than 3 weeks. So we'll invite you all if you want to come, and we have a name-giving ceremony. But DHA is going to be the ceremony. So, but back to this. We are in a prison, actually. And it's a prison of our own making. It's a prison of our own making via the false ego is the prime holder of the prison. We are identifying, due to a lack of sufficient good information, nor good desires, we're identifying with things that have nothing to do with us. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, all of the senses that line up with those elements, trying to smell the earth, trying to see the things emanating of fire, the light, trying to taste all of the different juices and waters of this world, and so on like this. These are what's happening. And what is guiding us to do that? The mind, which has had experiences with the senses before. It's like a little memory bank. Like, ooh, that one time we had that smell was really good, or ooh, that smell was really bad. Avoid this, accept, and then the intelligence is saying, avoid this, accept and reject. This, I had a bad experience, no. This one, I have a good experience, yes. And like this, and then the false ego, which is thinking I am whatever you think you are. I am Peter of this lineage, of this land, I'm this, I'm a man, I do like this. But actually, these things always change. And if you want to do a litmus test, whether your ego is of the false or of the real nature, just ask yourself, all right, well, last lifetime was this true? So, Benjamin Simmons, was that your name in the last lifetime?
Probably not.
Yeah, so do you think that you are Benjamin Simmons?
No.
Yes, so now the intelligence is working nicely. Yes, that's not who you are, nor will it be in the future lifetimes. We identify so much of my culture, so much of my caste, so much of my identification with myself. I'd like to think I'm a yogi, I'd like to think I'm a teacher, I'd like to think I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other thing. You were raising?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm thankful that my initials in this life are BS. It helps me just identify from it.
Yeah. That is very nice. That is very nice. Yes. You said that, not me. So anyhow, but now we got to get it past this BS, and we have to ultimately get to the divine energy. So there's us, besides this inferior nature, there's us who are struggling with this inferior nature. That's where we are. So how do we get, and sustaining the universe, all the living entities, interacting with matter in so many different ways. So what's the solution? How do we get out of detention? How do we get out of the prison? Who's interested in going home from detention? Detention is so annoying. Make you sit there, and anytime you try to be productive or do anything, they're like, no, you just sit here. I don't know if that was the type of detention that I went in. So screw you. What is this? Actually, there's no way in this more woke culture now, everything's everyone's so sensitive. There's no way you'd get away with these things anymore. But anyhow, that's what I had to go through when I was a kid. But still in prison, they're not that woke. It's still pretty strict, and it's pretty, it's intense. But actually, we have made our own prison with misidentifying who we are and turning away, ultimately due to this one bad fall down that we have. We are not interested in what? What is our main problem? What are we not interested in? Tanma, you can say it, no problem. Krishna. We're not interested in Krishna's who? What's his position?
God.
He's the absolute truth, supreme Godhead. He's the Isha, the supreme controller. We're not interested in him. Just like in prison, if we're not interested in the laws of the state, maybe let's say represented by, in the USA now it's Donald Trump, but everyone hits so many hate like this, so there's all kinds of civil war type of thing happening. But let's say there's, in India, Modi, it's more unified at least, a little bit more unified than here. But, if Modi is making all kinds of laws, or let's even say the Vedas are making laws, and we have a great Raja Rishi who's, a great ruler who's ruling justly. But if the person does not want to abide, wants to turn away from the laws and the recommendations of that person, there's a special place for them. And they're known as prisoners. They go to jail. If they say, no, well, what do you mean killing people is wrong? I want to get pleasure through killing people. So you have someone in the West, we have all kinds of famous serial killers who do all kinds of gruesome, horrible things. And then there's a place for them. You cannot be with the rest of us. You are a lunatic, and you have to go here. So we're all the lunatics of the spiritual world. We are not interested in God. This is our problem. If you're here in the material world, this is your problem. Even if you're religious, it's your problem. You're not that interested in God. If you are very, very interested in God, there's no reason for you to be here, actually. There's a world, there's a place where you can totally fulfill all of your interests with God. But we're not in that place, now are we? We're associating with what type of energy? Yeah, that which is not. That's what Maya means. That which is not. The illusory energy. So this is our issue. So now you're going to know something about Krishna. This verse. Ready? What time is it?
12:40.
Okay, class is over. We have to go. I'm just... Ready? Etad yonini bhutani. Sarvani tyupadaraya. Aham kritsnasya jagata. Prabhava pralayastata. Etat, these two natures. Yonini, source of birth. Bhutani, everything created. Sarvani, all. Iti, thus. Upadaraya, no. Aham, I. Kritsnasya, all inclusive. Jagata, of the world. Prabhava, source of manifestation. Pralaya, annihilation. Tatha, as well as. So Krishna, he says this a few times in the Bhagavad Gita, but of all that is, repeat after me, of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both its origin and dissolution. Prabhupada is saying, everything that exists is a product of matter and spirit. Spirit is the basic field of creation, and matter is created by spirit. Spirit is not created at a certain stage of material development. Rather, this material world is manifested only on the basis of spiritual energy. This material body is developed because spirit is present within matter. A child grows gradually to boyhood and then to manhood because of that superior energy, spirit soul being present. Similarly, the entire cosmic manifestation of the gigantic universe is developed because of the presence of the supersoul, Vishnu. Therefore, spirit and matter, which combine together to manifest this gigantic universal form, are originally two energies of the Lord. And consequently, the Lord is the original cause of everything. A fragmental part and parcel of the Lord, namely the living entity, may by manipulation of material energy construct a skyscraper, factory, or city, but he cannot create matter out of nothing, and he certainly cannot construct a planet or a universe. The cause of the universe is the Supersoul Krishna, the supreme creator of all individual souls, and the original cause of all causes. As the Katha Upanishad confirms, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanash Chaitananam. So, basically what he just explained here was kind of what we were talking about. This world of matter, dead, temporary changing things, and then what is the spirit that's illuminating it? That's what we are. The living entities, you, who you really are what's illuminating all the dead matter in your body that you're identifying with. That's who you really are, that which is illuminating, this animating this dead matter. Did you ever chop off your finger? Most people should say no, I hope so. But if you chop off your finger, it'll be no good after that. You just severed it from its life source, who actually you are. I mean, maybe you've gone to a funeral before, and you've seen a body or a dead body. That's not the person anymore. Now we must burn this or we must bury this, because it is it's decomposing. It's no good anymore. So this is actually who we really are. We have to know who we are as the jiva. We talked about this last week, and we should know for certain Krishna is actually the origin. Remember, Beta Prakash. Krishna is Tatastha Shakti. We are the marginal energy of Krishna, which are one with, yet totally different from him. So he is our origin and dissolution, and we are ultimately put in this world. The analogy in the Upanishads is that this whole world is like a pipala tree, and we're like little parrots in the pipal tree. And from within, someone is giving us impetus and inspiration to do. You could go like this. You have your inner consciousness, right? You have that inner faculty. You have all these desires and things you want to do in this world, and then you get confirmation from within. Like, yeah, that'll help me get closer. Now I got this idea. I'll try this. I make this plan. Am I the only one this happens to? No, this is right. This is what everyone is doing. That's the super soul. That's Krishna from within, guiding everyone towards whatever they desire. This world is a result of what you desire. So remember, what is our problem? What is our problem? What don't we desire? Yeah, we have no desire for anything to do with God. That's really our problem. And if we have some desire for God, it's so that He can help us fulfill our material desires better. That's our problem. You're not free from that. And you know how I know you're not free from that? Because you're still here in this material world. Unless somehow or other you are an avatar sent down here to lead people towards the opposite conclusion, which I'm going to speculate, maybe we're not that, right? This is our problem. So what's our solution? There has to be a solution. Well, first let's know a little bit more about Krishna. He says, O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there's no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. You know, you have this nice necklace. Ooh, it's beautiful. But without the thread holding it together, it's like a bunch of scattered pearls, right? What makes something beautiful and is, you know, you need that thread that holds it. Like, look at this beautiful Tulsi necklace, and look at Mukunda's, it's even bigger, you know, and more impressive. But that's a nice strong thread in there holding that together. We don't see the thread, but underlying everything there is that thread. That is what's called, now Prabhupada is saying it's actually not Krishna, believe it or not. It's an expansion of Krishna. What does he call it? Who is the personality? No. It's even an expansion of him. It's not directly Balaram. I'll give you a hint. Vishnu. Yes, that's how the material worlds are guided by Vishnu avatars. The three Vishnu avatars, the Mahavishnu. Then there's the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is the creator of each universe, giving birth to Lord Brahma. You know, he's the foundation. And then even the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, which is that other bird, the super soul from within. It's not directly Krishna. You don't have a chance to directly associate with Krishna yet. We're not quite there. We're trying. That's why we're doing sadhana bhakti, practice to associate with Krishna. But we're not really anywhere close. And the thing he's looking for is the real desire to actually do so. If the desire is there, he'll actually, just like if you desire to, for me, I really desired like a girlfriend or a wife at some point in my life. You know, really, yes, at some point. So I was always meditating on ways, you know, to, well, maybe this girl will be attracted, and like this. And so I did this so many different ways, and when things didn't work out, I had like a little guiding voice from within. Well, maybe you should try this. Well, maybe you should try this, right? This happens to, I'm not the only one this has happened to. Yes, maybe you should try this. Maybe you should try. That's Super Soul Vishnu, just kind of whispering, well, okay, maybe try like this. Maybe, you know, giving you the different facilities to fulfill your desires. That's all he wants. He's like, okay, you desire to do like this. Like it's like kind of being in the prison house, and you say, okay, what are some activities you can do in prison? Maybe you can play board games. You know, maybe you can go in the courtyard and work out. Maybe you can, you know, build a shank or something, or you know, file down a shank out of a toothbrush. This is like a joke, but no, these things happen. You know, maybe you can bully other prisoners. So in prison, you have certain limited options, but you still, the guiding super soul is like, all right, well, let's play Scrabble today. Let's go beat up the neighbor today, something like that. I'm trying to be lighthearted with this, but actually, this is what we're doing. We're trying to play around in the material world. Oh, let me try this, let me try that. And he's like, all right, yeah, why don't you go for it? He's even doing that with the crazy people, the serial killers, the really lunatic people. He's giving them the facility to fulfill their desires in this material world. Luckily, it's all Maya. It's that which does not totally exist. So even all of these horrible things we've done lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and maybe will continue to do, and even many people others still continue to do, it actually has nothing to do with the spirit soul. It just has to do with the matter we're identifying with. So this is actually can give great hope if you've ever been really offended, or if you really are, you know, great tragedies. And things that happen, death, and things we don't want to see in this material world. We can know, actually, we can have comfort in this, that actually that has nothing to do with that spirit soul. They're not really experiencing that. They're kind of having like the dream. Like, you ever have a dream and you wake up and you're like, oh my God, thank God that's not real. Like that's happened to you? Like, yes, it happens all the time. That's what this world is. We think things are so real, but its nature is it's not real. It's Maya, actually. So what's the real situation? He said, there's no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung upon a thread. And then he starts going on, I'm the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om. And he's saying, he's ultimately the thing behind everything, all the topmost things in this material world. And then we have to go, it might be actually nice to just read all these. But this is the energy, the energy. This is a very popular verse. We should all learn it. But this is what Jack sent me, Jagadish actually. He was given the name Jagadish in the 70s when he was studying yoga, so that was pretty cool. So I like calling him Jagadish. So it's like the controller of the world, right? Or the universe. Repeat after me. Daivi Yesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Mayame Tam Tarantite. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So this indicates our solution. What? It indicates both our problem and our solution. Problem is what? We're not surrendered unto the Lord in any way, shape, or form. That is our problem. We're not interested, like, oh, I have more important things to go. Like, all right, come on, stop talking about this. I've got this, that, all the things that matter, right? My job needs me to do this. My mom wants me to do this. My this wants me to do that. This, that, and the other. And, we're really not so surrendered unto the Lord. That's the problem. But the solution is those who are surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Easily. That sounds nice, right? Oh, I can cross beyond all illusion and I can have an eternal existence and happiness. That sounds nice, right? But, there's a huge but. It's very difficult unless you do this. You surrender unto the Lord. Now we talked about this. Anyone remember? Last week, Adya was talking about this. What are the 6 processes of surrender? Does anyone remember? Sharanagati it's called. What's that?
Accepting what is favorable.
Yes, doing activities that are favorable to Krishna. That's so only activities which are favorable to your surrendering process to Krishna or your devotion to Krishna. So there's many things in the Shastras that are very favorable to Krishna. We were talking about some of them now in Nectar of Devotion on Wednesday. I think you listened, right? But you weren't here in person, I know, like that. I hope you were doing something favorable to Krishna at the time. But right, we have to be enthusiastic, we have to be determined, we have to be patient, we have to avoid association with those who are not interested in helping us surrender deeply to Krishna. There's many things that we have to do that are very favorable, and that's what we call bhajana kriya. All of our spiritual activities that we do in the morning and everything, seva, hearing Hari Katha, chanting bhajans, understanding the meaning, all of these things, so these are favorable activities. But also equal to that is what's the next one?
Rejecting non-favorable.
Yes, you have to also reject all the non-favorable. So all the things that don't let you do those things are going to get in the way of that. And really what they'll do is they'll waste all your time. So overconsumption of things, right? I want to enjoy pretty much all the things of the senses. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Too much eating, too much sleeping, enjoyment in sleeping, too much enjoyment in sex life, too much enjoyment in acquiring things, position, wealth, this, that, and the other. We have to reject doing these only at the basic level, just to do enough in life, right? Just to get by so we can do what? Our bhajana kriya. We can actually do our spiritual activities. That's all we have to do. So pursuing wealth, pursuing knowledge even, material knowledge. Many people think, many of you are students, and maybe you want to spend Maybe you have to spend a certain amount every day in studying, or how to do the job application process. That's what I see a lot of you guys. Not so much in actually the information that will make you better at the job, but how do I manipulate the system? How do I get the system? Don't worry, we all do it. That's what this education system taught us to do. Like how to take tests properly, not actually how to apply the knowledge that we've learned. But anyhow, the interviews are like the tests. So, but yeah, you might have to have Priti, Hare Krishna. We brought in. We have a new friend for your son now.
Yes.
This is very good. I don't know if they'll meet today, but
Congratulations.
thank you so much.
Now you are a father.
We were just talking about that. I'm not actually a father. Tanmay, tell her, what am I?
Spirit soul.
No, not even that. What am I? What's not changing?
He's Niranjan's cousin. We brought
Niranjan's cousin, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And here, Hare Krishna. Someone tell me, what is our eternal position?
Servant of
We're a servant of the Lord. So that's all I am. But yes, in this material world, it appears that I am a father as of right now. As it does appear that Niranjan is also. So what were we talking about, right? We're talking about the things that are taking us away. Just so those who just walked in, the big problem is Maya. We're in the prison house of this world. We're dealing with all these non-temporary changing things that can never make us happy and only frustrate us and give us all kinds of difficulty. And the reason we have to keep doing this is because we literally desire it. We only desire things of the lower, the inferior nature that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, which are the things of earth, water, fire, air, ether, the senses that measure all of these things, and then ultimately the mind that wants to give you ways that you can try to enjoy these things, the intelligence which accepts and rejects whether that's a good idea of the mind or not, and the false ego, which is what you're identifying with and using to chase all of these things. So this is a very difficult energy to overcome. And it's consisted of three modes of material nature, guna maya. It has three energies. That'll be explained later in the Bhagavad Gita. And that will help you with what we're talking about now. The next part is surrendering unto the Lord. How to do that? You'll have to overcome lower gunas, namely tama and rajas. But that will be explained in the Bhagavad Gita later. But it would be everyone's best interest. If you don't study the Bhagavad Gita, you're going to be in trouble in this life. Even if you want, I'm going to get into the Bhagavatam, I'm going to get into the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I'm going to get into this, that, and the other. These are great, very good. But if you don't understand the foundation as Bhagavad Gita, it'll be very difficult to understand these things. So we have to try and really understand what is our position and what to do. So Partha was telling us how to surrender. And he first said that we have to only do activities that are favorable for our devotional life. And meaning that go in tandem with that means you have to reject the things that are unfavorable for your devotional life. What's the most favorable thing for your devotional life? Does anyone know for your spiritual advancement? It's sadhu sangha. Yes. Even before chanting the Mahamantra, it's sadhu sangha. Because in the midst of sadhus, in the midst of others who understand the process, they'll tell you to chant the Mahamantra. They'll tell you to do your bhajana kriya. They'll help you reject all the things you should reject. They'll give you the whole process for you. So if you associate with sadhu sangha, you're in good shape. If you don't do that, though, you're in bad shape. You're not actually surrendering, because that's a process of surrender. In activities which are favorable for devotional service is not associating with materialists. I know we all actually probably even to some degree are materialists, but in our trying to get in a better position, we have to find people who are more qualified than we are. That should be everybody's intense focus. If we think, I'm plenty qualified. If you think you're the smartest person in the room, what's the saying? You are in the wrong room. Because you'll just, you can only go as far as, if you're the smartest person in the room, it's whatever your ideas are, you're never going to go further than whatever you can conceive. And if you're humble and realistic, it's probably not that much. But if you are in a room filled with more wisdom, with more truth, somebody more experienced, you're going to be in a much better situation. That's why we're inviting much of guests here. It's not. We're really trying to invite experienced devotees here to really increase the devotional capacity of this space here. Because if it's just based on maybe what I study, or maybe what our group of us, or collective group of us are studying, but we don't have really significant amounts of experience and wisdom, and in which they've received from their teacher and so on, that's how parampara works, we're going to be in trouble. So sadhu sangha is the most important thing. And the more you do sadhu sangha, the less you're going to be interested in asadhu sangha or asat sangha, which is, maybe saying like, oh, well, this family activity, this is the most important thing. Or, this thing with your education, this is the most important thing. Come on, no, we have to do this, this, and this. And they'll have you preoccupied all day, 8 to 10 hours a day, 50, 60, 80 hours a week. Who knows how long they're going to keep. It'll be infinite. They'll want extract everything they can from you. But that's asat sangha. It's actually, it's said in the Bhagavatam that you are better off being trapped in a ring of fire and around poisonous and dangerous animals in the forest than you are around asat sangha. That's not. Who here has association with dangerous and poisonous animals in this life? No, most of us we don't associate. But actually in the Bhagavatam, every one of us, we have association with asat sangha. People who are not encouraging us in any way, shape, or form towards spiritual truth. And we just say, Krishna just said, there is no truth superior to me. Krishna is in the position of God. There is no truth superior to the Lord. There's no truth superior to what he's recommending. And yet, we are trying to find so many other truths that are, that we can put this 1 hour a week, no problem. It's Easter today. Happy Easter, everyone. For many in I grew up in the Catholic tradition. This might be one or the second time a year you might go to church. This is not proper, actually. Jesus didn't recommend this, nor did the really sincere practitioners of the faith. But it kind of got watered down to such a point where you call yourself a holiday Catholic. Where you go on Easter and you go on Christmas and that's it. You have some semblance, all right, I should go get a little bit of God because my material things aren't working out how I want. But, the aspiration for God is not there at all. That's our problem. But if we surrender unto the Lord, we'll have no problem. So Parthu was talking about this, accepting those things that are favorable for your spiritual life. There's many things. If you study this in the Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Devotion will give you all kinds of favorable activities. That's the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Krishna is going to tell you pretty much what to do here, how to surrender. It's the process of bhakti. The Bhagavatam will give you all of that, show how different devotees at different levels and stages have surrendered deeper and deeper. And as you go through the Bhagavatam, you will learn deeper levels of surrender. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, or even the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, show you how to apply the Bhagavatam here in Kali Yuga. And he's the incarnation showing us exactly what to do. We sing in the morning a Jeev Jago song, and I'm forgetting, it's I think Tomari Lohite Ami, Hoinu Avatara, Ami Binu, Ami Binu, Ami, is it Ami? What is it? Do Ami Bina Bandhu Ada Keache Tomara. And the English part is like, to save you I have descended in this incarnation. What other friend do you have to provide your salvation? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing us exactly, we really don't have any other friend. Because even trying to study just Bhagavad Gita, it's very difficult to apply it. There's many people, here it's Easter today, many people study the Bible, but when you see the nitty-gritty of how they're living their life, there's a total misconception of how to apply the Bible. Similarly, all across India, Bhagavad Gita is in every home, but it's a total misconception of how to actually apply the Bhagavad Gita. But if you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, There's a whole society, created worldwide, and it's universal. The only, just look, all of the diversity of devotees. You go to Africa, there's African devotees, in Siberia, Siberian devotees, Mongolian. Everybody is trying to apply these teachings of Bhagavad Gita and all these teachings. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. No other. This is the Hare Krishna movement. So, but anyhow, how to surrender. These are the things given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami, and he's telling us how to do it. It's in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and the Upadeshamrita. He gave 2 works that kind of lay it down. So Parth was talking about doing only favorable activities, and then what's next? Rejecting the non-favorable activities. This might take us a while to figure out all the favorable activities and to figure out all the non-favorable activities and to actually apply them. If you don't know them, hey, get some books. We've got some really good things. Surrendering to Krishna, you can easily cross beyond all the difficulties this material world has to offer. But do you have faith? That's the first question. And the second question, do you really desire? Even if you do have faith, but I really want this thing instead. No problem. You chase that thing all you want. You have eternity to figure it out, but you'll never get comfortable. You'll never get what you're looking for. That's the unfortunate situation. So, okay, what's the third?
In full faith, Krishna.
Kind of. You have full faith that what? He'll do 2 things for you, the third and fourth.
That he will provide you.
Yeah, he'll maintain you. Always. Krishna will always maintain you. By doing the spiritual activities, by doing steps 1 and 2, by doing only favorable spiritual activities and rejecting non-spiritual activities, you will be maintained. You have to always have faith. If you don't have faith that you'll be maintained doing that, you're going to be in trouble. Right? Like, okay, well, I'm doing all these favorable things, but I have no time. Who's going to feed my family? Who's going to do this? Don't worry, Krishna will handle that. You just do that which is favorable. I actually, in my life, I've seen it over and over again. I was just talking to my neighbor the other day with Tanmay. Where's Tanmay? Okay. Anyway, but Tanmay was, I don't know if you did actually get a chance to dig the hole.
What?
Oh, did you dig the hole out there?
Yes, I did.
Oh, very good. The placenta is going in the hole. So anyhow, I was talking to the neighbor out there with Tanmay, and he was, I forget now why I was even talking about the neighbor.
Because he was talking about how he trims his trees, and he thought we are digging the hole for the tree.
Yes, I know that, but I had a point I was making. Yes.
Krishna will take care.
Yes, Krishna will maintain everything. Oh, but I was telling him, I was like, I really have no business, owning a house. I don't even know how it happened. I don't have like a full-time job. I don't have all these things that people do to maintain this thing. But there's Adya, Hare Krishna. And Larry, Hari Bol. Happy Easter.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. So, well, come on in. So, very good. So we're talking about the need to surrender to the Lord. And Adya, you brought this up last week, and it's come again. And here it is. This divine energy of mind, or the consisting of the 3 modes of material nature, in the Christian theology, that would be the realm of Satan, the Satan's temptations. It's very difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So Parth is talking to us how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown us how to surrender. So first, doing only activities favorable. Second, not doing the activities which are unfavorable to your devotional life. So you'll have to study what it is those are. I can't go through all of them. There's so many. But there's so many activities that are favorable to your spiritual life, and there's so many that are unfavorable. And by doing those 2 things, you always trust what part? Sohan Hare Krishna.
Krishna will help you.
Krishna will provide for you. If you do all of those things, He'll provide for you. You don't have to, no, this is more important. I have to focus on my financial life. Or no, this is more important. My family life is so important right now. No. Surrendering to Krishna is the only important thing to do in life. Everything, the Christians know this. Watch, Larry's going to tell us something right now. Very, very popular verse. I'm going to quiz you a little bit. Seek ye first.
I'm not sure.
It's seek ye first the kingdom of, it's Matthew, I think 6:36 or 24 or something like this. But it's seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all other things shall be added unto you. There's a universality. It's Easter today. There's a universality in all of these things. This was spoken 5,500 years ago. Jesus was speaking, seek ye first the kingdom of God 2,000 years ago, and all other things shall be added unto you. It's the same thing. If you surrender unto the Lord and seek the Lord, what does Jesus say will happen if you seek? If you seek, ye shall
Receive.
kind of find. If you ask, you shall receive. And if you knock, you shall enter. These is Jesus' teachings. Happy Easter, everyone. Jesus had risen today, and so it's a very special day. So he will provide for you. He'll maintain you. And then on also as well, he will protect you. A lot of fearful elements. Even right now, my baby. We just had a baby on Friday. So he is downstairs. But my baby, he's not taking his food properly. He has not reached the stage yet where he can properly clamp and take the food. So we're getting other milk shipped in and all these things. So it's kind of a discouraging situation for my wife and myself, and also for the midwives who are looking over, trying to make sure he's healthy. But there's a silver lining. If I was a faithless person, I would be like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? Oh my God, anything I can, take all the time away from my spiritual life. Maybe I can produce milk, maybe put a breast pump on my, all kinds of crazy ideas I might get. Or maybe I'll make like some almond milk or something like that. But no, I know that if I do that which is favorable to Krishna, we have a program today. I should be here for the program and help encourage the program. He's going to protect this baby. This baby is a devotee of his. And even if somehow, and please pray this doesn't happen, but even if the baby were to leave this world on a spiritual level, I know he would be protected. Not that I will encourage that. It's my duty as a father to make sure he lives and make sure he thrives. And so that's what's going to be my absolute endeavor. But it's somehow, I must always have faith that Krishna will protect. He's going to protect us. And sometimes that protection might not look, like when Jesus was put on a cross, how does that look like it's protection? It doesn't necessarily look like it's protection. From a physical level, to be beaten, to be put a crown of thorns on, and to drive nails through the hands and the feet, and to string him up there and let him hang on a cross. This is what happened. What was Jesus' fault? He was trying to tell every person to do this, to surrender to the Lord, to stop doing the unfavorable activities, all the sinful activities that we do in this world, and to surrender to God instead and do favorable activities. But this is how the world treated him. And it may look, how is God protecting? But then look what happened. And today, what happened? Jesus had risen from that position. It appeared that he was dead. Many wholeheartedly believe he had died. But no, because he was, now the thing is, many say he is the Lord himself coming to show us something. But he was protected in that. Even to being beaten and whipped and nails through, it doesn't actually so much matter. These are all the material things. This is the inferior energy of the Lord, this world of matter. So yeah, maybe you lose your job. Maybe some tragedy happens in your life. This doesn't mean the Lord has not maintained you. It doesn't mean the Lord hasn't protected you. It just means that thing is no longer suitable for you. You have something better coming to you. That's what having faith, that's what surrender is. Always trusting the Lord is protecting. Always trusting the Lord is maintaining. So if you do that thing, you will always trust what? Whose will be done? Is thy will be done. You'll always trust the Lord's will. You'll always trust the Lord's will. If you trust the Lord's will, this is the surrender. So something happens. All right, baby's not getting enough nourishment. Something like that. This is what's happening in my life. What to do? What adjustments can we make? All like this. This is ultimately going to have something good for the future. for him. Spiritually or even hopefully materially too. His body grows, all these things. That's my worries right now. But I must trust. I have to trust that this his will is best. Something as good is going to happen here. When Jesus was being beaten and whipped and all this thing, the disciples, maybe it was a huge test of their faith. It was a huge test. The most prominent disciple, Peter, he claimed to Jesus, I'll never abandon you, I'll never reject you, things like this. But Jesus said to him, he said, you'll reject me 3 times before the cock crows, or before the dawn happens. That's when the rooster would crow in the morning. You'll reject me 3 times. And lo and behold, the way it all played out, he rejected him 3 times. Why? Because he lost his faith. He got fearful of the whole situation. We do this in this world. Like, we go to a Sunday program. Yes, I have faith in the Lord, no problem. And then next thing you know, you go home, and then Maya and Satan work together, do their tricks, and next thing you know, you're not surrendering to the Lord. You're doing the exact opposite. This happens sometimes? You get inspired spiritually. I believe in God, I have faith, and then all of a sudden you have no faith. So, you'll always trust the Lord's will. This is an object of surrender. If whatever is happening is for the ultimate good, you have to believe that. Repeat after me. Whatever is happening is for the ultimate good. Whatever is happening is for the ultimate good. For whatever is happening is for the ultimate good. For the in Easter celebration, the Christian lens, thy will be done. On earth as it is in heaven. That's the Lord's Prayer. That's one of the main teachings Jesus gave. So, and then the last thing, by doing all of these things, you will obtain a very important type of mood. Yes, you'll be very humble and meek. Jesus says, blessed are the meek, the humble, the mild, the poor in spirit. All these people are actually blessed. And if you're surrendered to the Lord, you're clearly blessed. So, this is how we can cross over this very difficult world we're a part of. It's so difficult. If you're looking for pleasures of the senses, of your body's senses, trying to interact with the different elements of nature, different ways to smell and eat and eating, sleeping, mating, defending, all the luxuries and comforts of life, you'll never be happy. You'll just keep suffering and suffering and suffering and suffering and working harder and harder and harder to try and get them. And then you'll lose them all when you die. And then you'll have to just be miserable doing that. And that's very difficult for everybody. Everybody is dealing with this. Every old person you know, your parents, your grandparents, everybody you've ever known in this world is doing just this. They're suffering very badly in the modes of material nature. There's some pleasure. There's little peaks of pleasure. Yes, baby is born. Now all of a sudden, problems with the baby. Oh my God, how am I going to get this? I can't sleep anymore. I haven't slept. This is the least I've slept in ever, actually. It's crazy. I now get what Priti and Niranjan were talking about. No more sleeping for me. But yes, this peaks of pleasure, little bits of pleasure, but they're very temporary, and then they turn to misery as well. That's what you can expect in this world. But the way to easily cross beyond that is just surrender to the Lord. So, today's Easter message. Easter is a day of hope, of proof of the divinity in following the divine plan. It gives all Christians, I grew up with a Christian faith, it gives all Christians great hope that even in the intense adversity that happened on, through the passion of all the horrible things, the ways that Jesus was treated and all the tolerance and humility he had to go through all that. But to show the Christ-like way, what type of reward it was given. He was given an eternal spiritual body, and that same hope was promised to us, and that the whole Christian faith is built on that. So happy Easter. Similarly, we have the same thing is given to us here. This material world will be trials and tribulations over and over, and it's very difficult to overcome. And it's a guarantee. And it's not like a happy sunshine land, this material world. Somehow, so many toxic spirituality people, always talking about how amazing this world is, and just do whatever makes you happy, things like this. This is actually the Satanic Credo. We talked about thy will being done. They say, do as thou wilt. Whatever you want to do, just do it. I will say, do not do that. That is not a good idea. But some of you might be thinking, oh crap, that's how I lived my life up until this point. Whatever I've wanted to do, I've done. But this is the result we get. The miserable situations that we have in our life, the karma, what we've reaped, what we've sown and reaped. Do we have a good tree bearing good fruit, or do we have a bad tree bearing bad fruit? Does that sound familiar, Larry? That's from the Bible, yeah. So all these things. It's very important. So, Mukunda, what's the time check?
1:21.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. So we'll end there. Is there any question or concern? Anything like that? Not one?
I don't have related to this Bhagavad Gita. I have some general questions. So for Easter, why they distribute Easter eggs? What is the purpose of that?
Well, yes, it's very much not related. So that was a very astute observation. So as far as I know, Easter has been hijacked by paganism. So there was a goddess in of fertility called Ishtar, actually, which is interesting. It probably wasn't even Easter. It was probably not the proper name for it either. But we've been given Easter, which is close to Ishtar. But anyhow, Ishtar was the goddess of fertility and springtime. And her one of the animals that are very prominent, known for breeding at massive, is the rabbit. And also eggs. I don't know, also I think are symbolisms of spring in Easter and Ishtar. So that's like the pagan element. Like for the Christmas tree and things like, or in the Christmas that we celebrate, that's a whole nother scandal. But the Christmas tree is also a pagan thing as well. So these are just kind of, they're not related to the actual Christian Easter at all. But there have been influences in different places and different elements of power. Some say, yes, we are the Christian element of power and we're leading the whole world a certain way, but actually they have certain other elements that are present there, and maybe they have even a devious objective. We don't know, but we just know that they originate from some of these things. So anyway, it has nothing to do with Easter. It just has maybe something to do with springtime. But yeah, that's all I know. Anything with Bhagavad Gita though?
Why aren't there Easter eggs in the Bhagavad Gita?
All right, I think we're done. Because I don't think they're that important. So anyhow, all right. Well, that's good to know. Easter is about ultimately surrendering to the Lord and seeing the great reward. If you do go through the trials and tribulations, you will see the great reward to those who take to the very narrow and difficult path of spiritual life. But if you really surrender to the Lord, you'll easily cross beyond all of these things. And even if you're getting beaten, whipped, hands, and actually interestingly enough, all of the disciples of Jesus, they all left this world in very similar ways to Jesus, in a really brutal situation, except John, but he got exiled. But still, he also dealt with incredible difficulty. But because they were surrendered to the Lord, they can handle all of these things with grace, humility. And even you see, we have our Prahlad Maharaj, in the Vedic canon. He was tortured and so many things, but he always had faith in the Lord. And then the Lord eventually came to protect him when it was time, when it was too much, the offenses were too great against him. And why? The Lord is showing us, He's teaching us, He's didactic. All of His activities, even all of His devotees' activities are meant to teach us something greater. To teach the ordinary people of this world like ourselves the greater, deeper messages, and to live our lives to be actually Christian, which means to be Christ-like. So that's kind of the purpose. Bhagavad Gita is also teaching us to be Christ-like as well, or not so much Krishna-like, because we cannot be. My middle name is Michael. Archangel Michael. He's like it's a Latin word, Mikhail, and it means, it's a rhetorical question: who is like God? And the answer is nobody is like God. So ultimately, we can't be Krishna-like, we can't be God-like, but we can be Christ-like. We can be, because he's God showing us in human form exactly how to do. So I wish you all to be more Christ-like today on this Easter, to follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, to surrender deeply to the Lord, and to always trust that that process, don't lose faith. It actually, you're guaranteed success. You're guaranteed success, and actually you'll get something way better than whatever you're chasing for in this material world. So anyhow, I think we'll end here. Maybe we can end with a little kirtan. Is Michael around? It's a bad time to request Michael. Adi, do you want to do a little kirtan? Mukunda, you want to do a little kirtan? Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, art.
All right. Mukunda will decide who to do it, and Parth is not allowed to say no. So, if
Right,
you,
art did it.
so Parth, lead us in kirtan, okay?
Somebody
So-
needs to be my Mridanga support. Parth is leading.
No problem. Maybe I can do it.
Maybe Parth will do both.
What's that? That's okay. They don't get to specify. But thank you.